Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to talk about parent visas. As a migrant myself, I also understand it is so important for you to keep your parents with you in Australia, and sometimes we read information on the internet or some information from some website and we don't really consult professionals, and we are not aware of the options available for parents, which does not cost you a fortune. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about two visa options for parents in which you can keep your parents in Australia and it doesn't cost you a lot of money either. So if you guys like the information on this video, please share it with your friends and family, and do not forget to follow our channel or subscribe our channel if you're watching us on TikTok or YouTube or any other social media platform. So let's get started. This video is going to be in English. I'll also make another video in Hindi, so you can also watch that video as well, which would be helpful to you. So for you to bring your parents in Australia, most of the times parents visit you in Australia on a tourist visa, and when they stay with you for a few days or a few months, you feel like, okay, is there any way I can keep my parents in Australia? So the best visa for parents to come to Australia is a tourist visa. If you are an Australian citizen or permanent resident, you can apply for a tourist visa for your parents, and in most cases the department gives them 12 months of visa. That visa is valid for 3 years, but every time they can stay for maximum 12 months, and then they have to exit. So in between they start getting used to Australia. They start getting hanging around with the family and their grandchildren, but then the time comes and they have to suddenly leave. So in this video you'll get that information in which you'll be able to keep your parents in Australia in one or the other visa. So let's talk about these two visa subclasses. So first of all, we have a subclass 870 visa. So subclass 870 visa is a visa that can be lodged onshore or it can be lodged offshore. How much it costs you? So per parent, if you want to go for a 3 years of visa, it costs you $5,895, and for 5 years it costs you $11,785. So you can get either 3 or 5 years visa. Now what are the advantages for going for subclass 870 visa? So you will be required to have obviously sponsorship. So your sponsor should be parent's child. Means if you want to sponsor your parents, then you could be the sponsor. And if you are applying for a visa onshore, after the approval of sponsorship, you have to apply visa within 60 days, unless you have other reasons to go beyond that. If you want to apply from offshore, you can apply within 6 months of the approval of the sponsorship. Now, great thing about this subclass is that there is no balance of family test required. So it doesn't really matter how many of your children are Australian citizens or permanent resident, you can still apply for this visa. And another thing is there is no age limit either. So, your parents could be 50 or 55 or 60 or 65 or even older. Doesn't really matter. You can still apply for parent visa. And there's no requirement for assurance of support either. They should meet the health and character requirements though to be eligible for this subclass 870 visa. When your parents come to Australia on this visa, or if they are already in Australia and if they get this visa, they can stay either for 3 years or 5 years in a row without having to go back to their home country. You may be required to maintain health insurance. Now let's move on to another subclass, which is subclass 804 visa. This is a great option for those parents who are of pension age. Either one of the parent is of pension age. Generally, pension age in Australia is 67. So if you have a parent in Australia who is 67, one of the parents, you can apply for their age parent visa onshore, which is known as subclass 804. Now, how much it costs you? So the application charge for single applicant are $5,152. And if you have a secondary applicant, your second parent, that would be additional $2,650. Now, you can only apply for this application onshore, and your parents need to meet balance of family test. So the best way to know the balance of family test is just Google. If you just Google balance of family test, generally they give you a link to Department of Home Affairs website, and there's a table there, and it will help you to decide whether your parents meet the balance of family test for subclass 804 application. If you have 3 children, one is living in Australia, is Australian citizen or permanent resident, and 2 of them they are living in India, then you don't meet the balance of family test. So you need to calculate that. One of the parent must be of 67 years old, which is Australian pension age, and assurance of support is required in this visa. They also need to meet health and character requirements, and the good thing about a subclass 804 visa is they get a bridging visa A granted, okay, when a valid application is lodged, and the processing time for this visa is a long time. It can take up to 25 to 30 years, but that bridging visa A allows them to stay in Australia as long as that visa application is in process, which can take up to 25 to 30 years. And in most cases, if your parents are in high 70s or 80s, that is way too long time before you can get a grant. Now, if they want to travel overseas, you can apply for a bridging visa B, and when the bridging visa B is granted, you can go offshore and come back within the duration of the bridging visa B. So these were some of the options that doesn't cost you a fortune. There are other options as well for parent visas, like contributory parent visa, which costs you a lot of money. A lot of people back off because you can't fork out that much of money. That's why I give some insight on 870 and 804. If you guys want to keep your parents in Australia, or if you're thinking of calling them from overseas, and if you're thinking that they should live with you for longer, then you can reach out to us. Our phone number and details are available on the screen. My website address is there as well. You can simply book appointment with me, and I would be happy to help. Thank you.